It's interesting how we get attracted to complete opposites of the spectrum. People will get really involved in one thing and they'll almost feel like they overdo it to where they have to go to the complete other end of the spectrum. And I think that's kind of what happened to me with surfing is like, dude, I was working so much. What if I just surf the rest of my life? I went down that extreme and then I realized that's not what I'm here to do. And then it kind of balances out.
All right, guys. Matt Shields from North Carolina, right?
Yes, sir. Charlotte, 704.
Born and raised?
No, I actually was born in Texas.
Okay.
Moved to Maryland and then came down to Charlotte about 11 years ago.
And that's been your favorite?
It probably has, dude. I mean, I prefer Costa Rica, like if I could pick anywhere in the world, but I only lived there for a few months, so Charlotte's cool, man.
I've heard great things about Costa Rica, actually.
Dude, have you ever been?
No, my friends go for stem cells and health stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
Stem cells and like ayahuasca?
I don't know about that, maybe.
It's a good duo right there, man. Some stem cells, some DMT. That's what you get in Costa Rica.
Is that what you were doing out there?
Nah, man. Surfing. I became a beach bum, dude.
Really?
I was working so hard and then I surfed for the first time and I was just like, this is all I ever want to do.
So that's a polar opposite mindset.
Yeah.
And
it's interesting how we get attracted to complete opposites of the spectrum, right? Like, you know Brett Malinowski?
Yes.
Yeah, so Brett was telling me about this, how people will get really involved in one thing and they'll almost feel like they overdo it to where they have to go to the complete other end of the spectrum. Like the aggressive billionaire ends up donating all his money to charity because it's almost like this weird guilt we feel. And I think that's kind of what happened to me with surfing is like, dude, I was working so much and then I was like, surf for the first time ever. And I was like, what if I just surf the rest of my life? And then
Interesting.
I went down that extreme and then I realized that's not what I'm here to do. And then it kind of balances out. But
yeah.
Yeah.
When I deviate from business, I get an itch to go back to it usually. I don't know. I just love business and just podcasting and networking. Yeah. I think I'll always do it for the rest of my life.
What do you do to separate from business? Like what's your escape? What's your go-to?
Right now it's Fortnite and basketball.
Yeah.
And I love saunas. If I get opportunities to go in saunas, I love that. Yeah. So anything health related, I'm always down to do.
Dude, what did you play basketball growing up?
Yeah, I wasn't good though, like relative to like college level athletes, but I was decent. Yeah. You know.
Dude, I grew up hooping as well. That was like before I found business, I put everything into basketball, dude.
So you were nice.
I mean, I wasn't that nice, but I was like maybe D2.
Okay.
You know?
We got to run tonight if you want to play.
I'm down.
At Lifetime.
I'm so game.
Yeah, 7 p.m.
100%,
We'll film that. We'll bring the videographer.
That'll be awesome.
I'll be sick.
How tall are you?
I'm 6'6".
6'6"? Yeah. Really? I thought you were like 6'10", dude.
I wish. Actually, I don't know about that. I have this debate with my friends. I think anything past like 6'4" is pretty risky.
How so?
So actually anything past, I think it's 6'2", you lose a year of life on average. So you're trading lifespan for height. So if you're like 8 feet tall, you're going to lose like 20 years.
That's crazy.
Statistically, yeah.
And you get so much attention, dude. We were at the airport yesterday. We saw this 7'4" guy, tallest dude I've ever seen in person. And I've been going to basketball tournaments my whole life, but this dude was massive. And everybody in the airport's pointing at him, looking at him. Yeah. Just like the poor guy couldn't even walk. Because everyone's just like
there's pros and cons. Yeah, when I go to short countries, like I went to Bolivia, I went to China, and I was already the tallest in like middle school in China. Yeah. So you get looked at.
Yeah, I believe it, man.
But in sports, it's mainly useful, I'd say, in most sports, because you got the wingspan. So like I was good at tennis. I'm playing pickleball now.
Nice.
So it comes in handy, but
I
on
just
airplanes.
Picked up tennis.
Oh yeah? Tennis is fun, man. It's hard on your knees and joints, but
screws up my shoulder, bro.
Yeah, your sholdder.
But it's fun.
Yeah, it's a vigorous sport. Is that your favorite sport right now?
Nah, man, I would probably go surfing and then basketball. Okay. I have not hooped as much as I should be, but I've been talking to like, you know, Eddie Malouf and Joel and some of those guys.
He's nice, I heard.
Eddie, I haven't played with him. I was talking to him. I was like, dude, we gotta run some one-on-one. And he was like, bro, and then he just posted me up. We were just like at a networking event and he posted me up and he was like, bro, you can't get around me. And I was like, damn, he's got it right.
He's a little sniper. Did you see what happened to his brother?
I did, bro.
Bro.
What in the world?
That is nuts.
Did you watch the podcast on it that he made?
That was a good podcast.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Dude, we were at the bank setting up an account and we start talking about it. And then the banker is like, oh, do you guys know Barbecue? Which is who Eddie's brother was there to see. And what was it, Haiti, right?
Yeah, Haiti.
Barbecue, apparently cannibal, like eats people.
Really?
The banker randomly tells us about that. And we're like, dude, that's who our friend's brother just like went to see and got kidnapped for. Wow. So it's just like, it was a crazy coincidence.
Oh, so you knew about it when it was going on?
Yeah, I knew about it when it was going on a little bit. And somebody just like randomly brought up it to us. And then we told him like, yeah, that's our friend's brother. Like,
crazy. didn't know he was a cannibal. That's scary.
Yeah, cannibal was like bombing places and like barbecuing people. Like that's
that's how we got the nickname.
That's why they call him barbecue.
That makes sense. Wow. I don't think I'd ever go to Haiti, man.
It's the witchcraft capital of the world.
Really?
Is Dominican Republic and Haiti.
Wow.
The most witchcraft in the world is in those two countries.
I think I've been in Dominican when I was younger, but I don't know how it is now.
Dude, it's sketchy. You see some crazy, crazy stuff.
Wow. You been?
I've been to DR. I haven't been to Haiti, but I have friends who have, and yeah, man, it's
that's wild.
A lot of darkness.
You travel a lot?
Yeah. I was just in South Africa with Iman and those guys. We were shooting some content.
Iman Gadzi?
Yep.
Nice.
And then we were in Peru not too long ago. Carson and I were doing some stuff there. So I love traveling, man. I feel like making money, a great benefit from making money on your laptop is just being able to go around the world, meet people, see different cultures, get different experiences. It's so cliche at this point, but like, man, it's so fun.
Yeah, facts.
It's so fun.
People always ask me, and I'm sure they ask you what you spend your money on the most.
Yeah.
And for me, it's traveling and food.
100%.
Like,
those are the two.
Yeah, those are my favorite things. I probably spend 6 figures a year on those.
On travel and food both, or like separate each?
Probably.
It's a lot of money on food.
Probably just travel, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably both. I do go hard on food though, because I'm eating pretty nice in Vegas.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Are you like biohacked out, like organic everything, no seed oils?
I wish I could say that. I don't eat fast food, but I mean, most restaurants use seed oils, unfortunately, so it's kind of hard. And I feel like asking them not to sometimes, so I just suck it up.
Do you know Paul Saladino, Carnivore MD?
Yes, he's
He'll
awesome.
like go and they'll ask like, what oils do you use in the food?
Yeah.
And most of the time they don't even know.
Yeah.
You know, they have no idea.
It's pretty bad.
It's crazy.
Yeah, because canola oil is so cheap, so most restaurants just use that.
Do you know like what's the actual problem with the seed oil? Like what is the medical challenge to seed oil? Like, because I just know everybody says seed oils are bad.
Yeah.
But that's kind of become an echo chamber. I don't like seed oils, but I also don't even know like what's actually wrong with them. Have you
I just know it's highly processed.
Yeah.
It's used in non-foods. So it's basically like agents and other objects, and they're putting it into food.
Yeah.
It's highly processed. I try to eat as natural as possible.
Yeah.
And sticking by that, I tested my biological age last month, and I'm 21.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm doing decent, man.
Dude, that's sick. You got to be the next, what's that guy, Brian Johnson?
Yeah, I know. He's extreme, bro. He's 20 years younger than his age.
Dude, those thumbnails, like drinks his son's blood or crazy stuff, like vampire man.
Yeah. I think he's going to inspire a lot of people.
Yeah.
Which I like.
Yeah. He's a smart dude. Like when you watch him, he invented, what was it, Venmo or
one of those.
Cash App or one of those.
One of those payment apps.
It's like he's a genius dude. But he's just so extreme on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's polarizing.
And you've studied a lot of these billionaires, right?
I've studied a decent amount, man. Decent amount. Not as many as I probably should, but yeah, I've studied a decent amount of billionaires and just Charlie Munger says that there's $1 billion answers in a $50 history book. So I try to take that to heart. In a simple history book, in a simple biography, you can find answers that are worth $1 billion. Like you can go and research what was Elon thinking when he started PayPal? What was Steve Jobs thinking when he started Apple? What was he thinking when he left Apple? Right? Most people don't know he actually got fired from Apple, his own company. So you can kind of go and research because success leaves clues, right? And wisdom is prevention. So if you study other people's wisdom, you can prevent the problems that they faced because that's what their wisdom is. It's prevention for you, not having to run into those same problems. So yeah, I'm a big fan of studying, dude. I like to say there's 2 things I spend my time doing: studying information and then applying it. And I try to just spend as much time as I can doing those 2 things. And then every now and then, I'll surf or play some basketball. But usually studying information and applying it.
And are you doing biographies, YouTube videos? What's the platform?
Dude, so I was like a big reader. I was like, read a book a week, go crazy, 2x Audible, douchey founder stuff. And then I found this podcast called The Founders Podcast. I don't know if you've ever heard of this podcast. Heard of it. So basically this guy goes and he reads biographies every single week and he breaks them down into incredible like book reports. And so he does Charlie Munger, Steve Jobs, Jeff Bezos, all the biggest entrepreneurs who have ever walked the earth, right? And so he just puts them in these podcasts, breaks down the most important takeaways in like an hour-long segment, and then you just listen to it. And so I don't really read anymore. I don't really study entrepreneurs on like audiobooks or anything like that. I just go listen to this podcast, gives me everything I need, and then I kind of write some notes, take it away. That's awesome. It's so much more efficient, dude.
I'm going to check that out because I try to listen to books, but my attention span is shot from shorts and TikToks. Yeah. It's so bad. I think the average attention span is 3 seconds now.
Really?
Last study I read.
It's crazy. It's like the same as a squirrel or something?
It's less, dude. It's less than a goldfish now.
That's wild.
I mean, think about it. When you're on this is a good segue because you deleted Instagram, right?
I delete Instagram. Every now and then I'll go on to post, but I unfollowed everybody. So if you go to my Instagram, it's like I follow 2 accounts. I follow like the Bible account. So all I see is scripture. When I go on to Instagram, that's a good like protection for me, right? Yeah. But no, I unfollowed everybody. I unfollowed my best friend. I unfollowed my mom. I unfollowed everybody, dude. Because it's such a distraction from what actually matters. Right. I don't need to see what people are doing with their life. I need to be focused on mine. And the reality is like, even if this was a clip and people are watching it right now, most people are avoiding something in their life just by watching this.
Right.
And that's what I realized is I'm going to social media to escape. Whether it's for a minute or an hour, I'm just wasting my time there. And so there was nothing productive happening. But I figured if I could hack the algorithm to only put valuable content in front of me, then social media can no longer become an escape, but a form of education.
Right.
So that's why I just follow like the Bible app or the Bible account and then like one other account that only posts things that actually make me better.
Right.
So if I can kind of optimize my social media there, it's no longer as toxic as it used to be.
100%. I agree with that completely. You can customize your Instagram. You could say, I'm not interested on videos.
Yeah.
So I don't get any half-naked girls on mine. I just get health stuff, business stuff. For me, I have to use it because I'm looking for viral guests. That's how I found you. So I get it. But from your point of view, there's really no point. I mean, scrolling for hours.
Yeah, so bad, man. And same thing with YouTube. Like, once you watch 5 good videos, it will all just, your whole algorithm, your whole recommendation page will just be content in that category.
Right.
So all it takes is like 5 reels that are positive, watch 5 YouTube videos that are positive, and then your entire feed is going to become that positive stuff.
Yeah.
Then you just need to be disciplined and not go back to, freaking, I don't know, Addison Rae or whatever people are. I don't know. I haven't been on, I don't know who people watch anymore, but whoever's out there dancing.
Yeah, I like YouTube. My feed is solid on YouTube.
Yeah.
I got some really good stuff.
You got some Matt Shields content on there, bro?
You have come up on my YouTube, actually.
Yeah? That's sick.
But it's mainly like interesting podcasts I listen to. I like Lex Friedman, Joe Rogan. I just heard Tucker on Joe Rogan. That was a great episode.
Yeah.
Did you see that one?
I haven't. I've seen it pop up. I need to watch it. So what was your biggest takeaway?
He exposed government agencies for planting child on people's computers.
What?
Yeah, so if you go against the government, that's a possibility.
What?
That could happen to you.
They planted it?
Allegedly.
Dang.
People are scared to speak up because allegedly that could happen.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
That's a crazy world.
Very crazy. Yeah, I don't think I'd ever want to get into politics. Too dangerous.
Yeah.
A lot of people end up dead or just puppets.
You interviewed Tucker, right?
Not yet. He said he's going to come on. Yeah, shout out to Tucker. But
that's awesome, man.
I'll interview them, but I won't ever dive into that space.
Yeah, yeah.
It's too risky.
What's your big goal with this, dude? What's like your end goal? You have so much influence now.
Yeah, similar to Rogan, I guess. Just inspire, educate, have fun, change people's perspectives. Because I think people get fed a lot of the same information growing up.
Yeah.
I look back at my life. I was pretty brainwashed. I watched the traditional news outlets, went to public school, and I wish I had access to alternative information growing up.
Yeah. Dude, I'm the same way. I think one of the best things that ever happened to me, I dropped out of 9th grade. So I left high school after 9th grade.
Wow, that's young.
Yeah. And I went to YouTube University ever since. Like, I took Math 1 in 9th grade and that was it. I've never gone past like Algebra 1, never gone past English 1. I just went to YouTube University. Everything I've ever learned was on YouTube or podcasts or books. And, we've done all right. I'm sure it could be more successful, but I've been able to do all right in business and in life just by getting outside of those zones of just echo chambers, right? Which is what school is. It's a programming center for you to become what they want you to be. I believe John D. Rockefeller was obviously he was the most wealthy person in the world, and I believe he funded the General Education Board.
Right.
Not the public education system, but the Public Education Board. With like $30 million or something that was just like stupid amounts of money back when he was alive. And he said he doesn't want a nation of thinkers. He wants a nation of workers. And he's the guy who funded the General Education Board.
Right.
So if you go to school, their job is to make you a worker, not a thinker. That's why I never gelled in school, is I would think outside the box. I would challenge my teachers. I would ask them questions, and it always just led to me getting detention or getting kicked out or whatever, because I didn't want to be a worker. I wanted to think for myself. I wanted to come up with my own ideas.
Right.
And then eventually I came in 9th grade. I was just like, dude, I can't do this. So I just dropped out.
Wow. You need your parents' signature that early, right?
You do, but so you technically have to go to high school. So what I did, complete finesse, Sean, I found this thing called Penn Foster Online, which is like an online school, and it's basically a scam. It's basically a scam. I went on Penn Foster, and my senior year, I finished 2 full semesters in 3 days.
What?
The whole school year I finished in 3 days. It was 7 hours of work. I called them up after, and I'm like, guys, am I done? Or like, is there more work for me to do? And they're like, oh, no, you graduated. We'll send you a diploma. They sent me a diploma. Technically, I graduated. But really, it was just finesse.
That's awesome.
And then I started, I bought a course on how to make money online, started a business, and a few years later, we were running a multi-7-figure business all from our laptops. So.
And that's SMMA, right?
That's SMMA.
And did you buy, I'm assuming it was Ty Lopez's course?
It wasn't.
Oh,
it wasn't? No, it wasn't Ty's. It wasn't Iman. Shout out to those guys, though. It was a guy named Billy Wilson.
Okay.
Who's like an OG. He doesn't make content anymore, but I bought his course. It was like $600. I went to my mom. I was like, Mom, help me buy this course. She was like, no, go to college. Went to my dad. He was like, I'll give you $200. Came back to my mom. I was like, Dad's giving me $200. You sure you don't want to get in on this? My mom gave me $100. I put up the other $300, which I made like selling shoes on eBay.
Yeah.
Bought this course for $600. And I was just like, I need to make this work. Like, I was desperate, man. There's no other option. I have to make this work. So I went all in. I was 17 years old, working 70 hours a week, just like sweating my off, grinding, dude, trying to figure out how to become successful. And I turned that $600 course into now, we've done almost 9 million online.
Wow.
And till this day, that's the only course that I've actually gone through was that $600 SMMA course.
Crazy.
You
were all in.
I was all in. No other option. There's Newton's first law to me is a really interesting law for success and obviously science. But an object at rest stays at rest unless acted upon by an unbalanced force. So I find a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of people, they're at rest in their life. They can't seem to break through certain plateaus, and it's because they haven't been acted upon by an unbalanced force. For me, buying that course, even though it was only $600, it was an unbalancing force of pressure to where I had to get into motion. I had to figure out how to make something work. As JFK said, right, you have to throw your hat over the wall. So the only way you can come home is by climbing the wall, getting your hat, and going back.
Right.
Most people are scared to throw their hats over the wall. They're scared to take that risk. They're scared to put an unbalancing force in their life. But I did that with buying the course, and it forced me to go to a new level, become a new person.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I never translated that law to business, but that makes so much sense because 70% of rich people's kids lose their money, and then 90% by the third generation lose that. So, because it's too easy.
Dude, it's that cliche quote, hard men create easy times create weak men, or it's strong men create easy times create weak men create hard times create strong men. So true.
It's facts, yeah.
So true.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, you and I having kids, because they're going to come into money and they won't have that edge that we had.
So what do you do? Like, what's your plan?
I've been studying it, honestly. I don't even have kids yet, but I'm planning it. I've been watching Patrick Bet-David, the way he raises it with the book system. I think
What's that?
His kids have to read certain amount of pages to get rewarded to, I think, get their iPad and play games on it. Yeah. So they're reading like a book a week or something crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
I think that's cool. To the Founders podcast, bro.
Yeah, I got to listen to that one. Do they talk about raising kids on that?
No, I mean, I'm sure somewhere on there they do. But dude, that's interesting. So they have to read in order to earn the reward, basically. So he's just training them to be disciplined. Yeah. Which everybody could use, because even like non-rich kids have iPads and iPhones and all. I didn't have a phone till high school, dude. Really? Yeah, like an iPhone. Yeah. Yeah. Did you grow up in Vegas or? I grew up in Jersey. But yeah. It was a rich town, so I had that against me. Looking back, it was crazy because every kid in my high school, their parents bought them a car as soon as they turned 16, but mine didn't. Really? And I hated it. But back then, with that mindset, it makes sense. Now, looking back, it was great that my mom did that. How so? What did it do for you? Just humbled me, taught me to work for everything I want. I think if she gave me a car, I would have been a little spoiled. Yeah. Yeah, it gives you perspective, man. There's something powerful about that. My business partner I was telling you about, where he went to school in Jersey, it's called like the Billionaire School. I don't know if you've heard of that. It's like a high school where like 3 billionaires have came out of. Really? Yeah. It's public? I think it is public. Wow. Yeah.
Something in the water there, man.
Something, dude. Something. It's like it's an Indian town. So it's like I guess Indians are more likely to be billionaires, and I don't know. I don't know if that's true.
So Indians actually, they've done studies on Indians, and they save the most money.
Really?
Yeah. So they're the highest saving
even
household.
more than like Jewish people.
Yeah.
Really?
On average, yeah.
Huh.
In the U.S. at least, I gotta check that study, but yeah, Indians. They're
so you
savers.
study a lot of stuff, dude.
I like studies, and you got to see who's doing the study, who's funding the study.
Yeah.
Because there's a study for everything good and bad. There's always two studies, you know?
So what's like your advice to somebody, because there's so much crap on the internet of, oh, this study showed blah, 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 and it's just BS. So how do you discern that? How do you actually investigate a study to find out if
there's a
it's accurate?
site, Lane Norton showed me, it aggregates all the studies, and then it'll show ratios of how many were positive, how many were negative to this ingredient.
Interesting.
But I just trust the experts at this point. I don't trust any mainstream websites. Like if it's Huffington Post, if it's, I don't know, Fox, CNN, I don't read it.
Yeah.
I just can't believe it, dude.
Yeah, I feel you. That conventional, that's why I just don't watch the news.
Yeah, I mean, look at who funds the news. It's big pharma. It's all these big companies.
Yeah.
So they're going to program whatever message they want to get across to the masses.
Yeah. It's scary, man. It's scary. That's why I was watching a Hermosi video yesterday, I think, where he's talking about online education and just online marketing and everything, and how powerful that's going to be because everybody's starting to have their own platform, right? Like you have your own podcast. I have my own podcast. There's so many people have their own forms of distributing content and information that these big systems, Fox, CNN, et cetera, they're starting to decline. I think it's by like 4% a year or something like
crazy.
That. And all these other platforms obviously are shooting up. So
yeah, Rogan just told this to Tucker. Alternative media is getting more views than traditional now. All the podcasts and YouTubers.
It's crazy.
So we're overtaking traditional media.
Dude, so here's where my concern goes is like you're gonna have everybody gets a chance to have a platform. So you're gonna have a ton of people who shouldn't have platforms in the first place, which I guess already is the case with, Fox and CNN to some extent. What do you think is going to happen in 10 years from now when every kid with a mic and a phone is popping off and posting viral TikToks, which already is kind of happening?
Yeah, you're seeing it now.
Yeah, but what do you think is like 10 years from now is going to look like?
I think just success will speak, dude, in the business space at least, and the health space. I think people are going to go to the experts. You kind of see it now. Like all the top shows, if you look at the hosts, they have some sort of experience or knowledge. It's not just some random guy for the most part.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think people will gravitate over time, but there's so many podcasts right now. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Almost everyone probably has one or has been a guest on one.
Yeah. Dude, that's why like I was having fun with the podcast and some of them were doing well, but it's just so much competition, man.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to do it for the right reasons.
Why do you do this?
Just inspire, educate.
Yeah.
Money is one part of it. I mean, it does do well financially, but that's not the main reason. For most people, it is. And they're relying on the podcast as their source of income.
Yeah.
So that's where it gets a little dangerous, I think.
How do you make money from this? Just
sponsors, views, opportunities that come from working with guests afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Damon John was a guest. He spoke at my event.
Nice.
He sold 3 mastermind spots at $30K each.
Wow.
So he made $100,000 in 10 minutes. So just like opportunities like that. There was a stem cell guy that came on. I'm offering stem cell options to my guests now.
Really?
Yeah.
We got to talk about that, bro. My shoulder's like so
messed up. Oh, I got you. I'll put you in touch.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That'd be huge.
You'll have to fly out, but he'll put you up in a nice hotel and everything.
Yeah?
Colombia,
like Medellin?
Yeah.
Shoot, okay.
You been there?
I have.
Yeah?
Yeah. Cool place. Crazy place.
You dating right now?
Nah, not really, man. I'm waiting until. So I used to date around and all that stuff, but dude, it hit me after 1 week. I don't even want to say what I did. It was terrible. At least the way I look at it now. It's probably normal to how most men operate in society today, but I was just not being a person I wanted to be, and I went too far 1 week. Just was like sleeping around with different women, and after that, I was just like disgusted with myself.
Wow.
Man. I was like, what am I doing? Like, I didn't have any love for any of these women. I'm just giving my seed of life, my life force inside of me to random strangers, which you're giving them power over you, right? You're letting, in a weird way, you're becoming subservient to the woman because she's controlling your force of life. So I was just it's just a weird spot. And I was like, man, what am I doing? Like, why am I doing this? And I realized like, I don't want to interact with someone like that unless I actually have love for them. So I'm waiting until I find somebody I actually care about, I actually love, and then Dude, I'd like to wait till marriage, honestly, to do it again. It's tough. I don't know if I'll be able to, but
that's a rare thing these days, man.
Yeah, my buddy Carson is big on it, so he's been putting that like into my mind. Like he really wants to wait, and he's disciplined on it. So I'm like, dude, I should too.
And I love that. And it's unfortunate that guys get made fun of for like being virgins these days. But it's powerful to hold that in, man. I do think there's a spiritual connection when you have sex.
There is. It is, dude. So in the Bible, there's a spirit called Jezebel. The Jezebel spirit is like the lust spirit. And Jezebel was essentially like a domineering woman who certain men in the Old Testament would, give their life force to Jezebel, and then she would essentially have power over them. So that's what I was trying to allude to earlier, is when you interact with a woman in that way, you start craving to have sex with her. She now has this control over you because she needs you to behave a certain way in order for you to get sex. So you're becoming subservient to them in the sense of, they control you. I've seen so many of my buddies, this happens to them, where they can't, they can't come back to their woman if she disrespects them. They can't, they have no control over the relationship. They're constantly being berated and controlled and just manipulated, but they want the sex so bad. They're so controlled by the sex that they just let it happen. And they're not even in love. They're just in lust. Wow. It's so dangerous, and it's all over the place, man.
Yeah, they call it simping.
Simping.
But no, for real.
That's the modern Jezebel spirit. It's the simp spirit, bro.
Yeah, you see it everywhere. And they need to do psychological studies on why it is, because it is bad. Like, guys will do the most.
I've heard this said that men, the reason that men get so addicted to sex and multiple sexual partners is because they have no other way of expressing intimacy. And the most intimate thing you can do is have sex with someone. So men chase sex because deep down they're just craving intimacy. Like, they just want to be intimate with someone. They want to have a conversation with someone. They want to actually get to know someone. But in our society, men can't do that, right? It's not, you don't talk about your feelings. You don't express your emotions. You're weird or weak if you do that. So instead, we compensate and we react by just becoming addicted to sex.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way we can get any form of intimacy out of ourselves.
Right. And a lot of guys sleep around because they think it's the cool thing to do too, with their friend groups and everything.
We got to change that, bro. It's not cool. It's lame, bro.
Yeah.
It's lame.
No,
like, let the cool thing being a good father, being in love with one woman, being loyal, having high character, raising a good family. That is the cool thing.
Yeah.
We got to bring that back into the world though, man.
Yeah, I'm fortunate, man. I've only slept with one girl.
Really?
And for someone in my position, that's so rare, and that's like unheard of, honestly. To have millions, to have followers. But I'm so happy I did it. But like growing up, I got, made fun of and stuff.
Yeah.
But I just held through it.
Why don't you go sleep around? Like, what's stopping you?
Well, at first I just couldn't. Like, I had no game. But I'd say, like, once I started making money and got followers, like, I definitely could have. I just never wanted to spend time on it, dude. Like, it's a full-time thing. I see my single friends chasing girls 40 hours a week. Like, for real. They're going on dates. They're texting them all day. Like, it's literally a full-time job.
Bro, it is. And, like, they got no money, but they have these bodies. They're focused on their body count, not their bank account. That's the problem, bro.
And now within the past year, add on that spirituality component that I'm learning about and the energy transfers of sex. There's no way I'd ever do it. Like,
it's your highest form of energy that you're exchanging with somebody. Now
Creates
they have
life.
a part of you. It does.
And I believe you can inherit traumas too through sex. You ever feel heavy after like sleeping with someone?
I definitely, dude. I've had some shit happen.
Yeah, so like I believe you're like inheriting their traumas. And,
so what have you been learning spiritually?
Dude, I went through a weird atheist phase growing up. I was Christian, went to church, and didn't like it.
Yeah.
And I feel like this happens to a lot of kids.
Yeah.
They don't like it. And then I just didn't believe in God for like years. And then sought purpose. Like, I seeked purpose and meaning in life. And just, I've had on a few guests, Mateus De Stefano, Billy Carson, Robert Edward Grant, just exploring possibilities of life after death and all this stuff. And I've gone through some weird encounters.
Really?
I've done past life regression therapy. I've had ghost hunters on the show, just getting perspectives. And I'm definitely a believer in spirituality.
That's interesting, man. I was an atheist too, but I grew up atheist. Like, my family didn't go to church. We didn't believe in God. We didn't talk about the Bible. my mom was kind of agnostic. She'd been burnt by the church. My dad was an atheist. And similar to you, dude, exactly what you just said, I started seeking purpose. And what I realized, if there's no God, the word purpose, by definition, is the reason for which something exists or is created. So to have purpose, there needs to be a reason we were created. And so what I realized, if there is no God, there's no reason for us being here. There's no reason for our creation. So without God, we cannot have ultimate purpose. And when that hit me, I became kind of a nihilist because I wanted to believe in God, but I didn't.
Right.
And so I realized without God, there's no purpose. So I guess nothing matters. There is no reason for us being here. I went really deep down this dark path of nihilism. And one day I just kind of denounced God. I was like, God, I've been seeking you for 5 years. I don't think you're there. It's been 5 years and nothing's happened. If you're there, like, cool, show me. But I'm going to just go live my life, be a good person.
Yeah.
Whatever happens, happens. The next day, something happened to me that just like made my head hurt. It was crazy. And then the next day, another thing happened. I got a text from somebody I hadn't talked to in 3 years who said, hey, God put you on my heart today. Is everything okay?
Wow.
And then thing after thing after thing, Sean, and I just kept seeking, and he kept revealing himself to me. And then one day, eventually, I read the Bible, and I'd read the book of Matthew, the Gospel of Matthew, which I'd read 3 times before. But this time, these guys had said a prayer for me at my church. I was going to church, seeking what's up there. And they said, God, like, make this book come alive to Matthew. Like, open his eyes to what this book really is. I go home that night, just fired up to read the Bible. It was super weird. I was like, I can't wait to go home and read the Bible. The weirdest thing. I go home and I pick it up, and it's like it was a different book. And I read it all night. I read like the whole Gospel of Matthew, just going. And ever since then, I haven't been able to put it down.
Crazy.
So, yeah, man, it's everything.
Yeah.
It's everything.
Yeah, you can really find almost like a connection, right? With like a higher power.
Yeah, a big thing I'm a believer in is that God doesn't want religion, he wants relationship. Everybody talks about religion, and religion's probably what turned you away from the church to some extent.
Yeah, especially modern day religion.
Yeah.
Where there's money involved. I'm not a fan of that.
Oh, dude, it kept me away for so long. Because all I see these mega church pastors in these mega mansions with 12,000 square foot houses and private jets and all these nice cars, and I'm like, why would I go support that? But that's not God. And that's what people have to keep in mind. It's like religion is not God. What's so funny is the thing that Jesus condemned more than anything, the sin that he condemned, was religious hypocrisy. More than anything else, he preached against the Pharisees and the scribes, the most religious people in the world. He was crucified by the most religious people in the world. So, the Bible says in James chapter 1, verse 27, it says, religion that is pure and undefiled before God the Father is this: care for orphans and widows in their distress, and keep yourself unstained by the world. That's religion in the Bible's terminology, is to care for people who need it and to not be like the world.
Wow.
So people get this wrong a lot. It's not about religion. It's about relationship with God. That's what he wants. So, yeah, man, that's been probably the biggest thing in the last year of my life, is just looking into that, looking into why we're here.
Yeah, I love that you're open about it, because it is a divisive topic these days.
Yeah, it is for a lot of reasons. So you were in church, you got kind of turned away, you've come back. Are you into like philosophy or like Buddhism or Christianity? Like, where's your mind go with spirituality?
Yeah, I don't know if I'd tie myself to one. I do like the reincarnation aspect. I'm a believer in that. I do think we've had past lives, and I think we'll have future lives. I know that's probably against your belief, but I do believe in that, man. Is
that come from like Buddhism, or is that separate from anything?
I don't know what it's tied to. I know it is a big part of Buddhism, but so in past life therapy, they kind of bring it out of you. They speak to your subconscious mind.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating.
What is past life therapy?
So there's different forms. So one I did was past life regression therapy. So you're lying down on a bed. She puts you in a meditative state, almost like hypnosis.
Okay.
So she brings your subconscious mind forward, and that's what's talking to her. And then she'll walk you through some of your past lives.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
And when that happens, are you like, do you feel it? You're like, oh man, I was X, Y, and Z thing in a past life? Or
yeah, some people see it. There's visual learners. There's people that learn by touch, so they have to explain through touch. And then there's one other one, I think audio. But yeah, I explored like 7 of my past lives.
Dang.
Allegedly. I mean, there's no like physical proof. I like proof. I like numbers. I like data. So that this is more out of the box for me typically. But
yeah, that's crazy, man.
It is interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I used to have heart pain all the time. And well, I'm trying to remember. Okay. So in the life, I had a heart attack. I was a really stressed out businessman. And I died of a heart attack. And so in this life, I would get like chest pain. I would get like heart palpitations all the time. As soon as we cleared that energy, dude, I haven't had it a single time.
Really?
And I used to have it all the time.
Dang.
Yeah. So she said a lot of physical pain in the body is caused from stress in previous lives.
Interesting, dude. Maybe I was like a power lifter in a past life. My freaking shoulder, bro.
Dude, if you want to try her out, she lives here.
I'd be open to talking to her. I probably wouldn't do it. It's interesting, man. I was very into Buddhism.
Yeah.
Very into Stoicism and Buddhism. And obviously reincarnation is a key principle of Buddhism. You reincarnate until you achieve nirvana, which is enlightenment. But yeah, I don't know. It's tough. I think the fact that there's something out there is that belief in itself is better than the idea that we're here for nothing.
Agreed.
That we're here for no reason.
Yeah.
And then we just have to keep seeking. Like the Bible says, seek and you shall find, ask and you shall receive. And I tried to follow that. And
yeah,
if you seek, you'll find, man.
So do you believe in afterlife, or do you think this is just
There's a crazy book called Imagine Heaven by John Burke, I believe. It's a crazy book about, he studied over 1,000 near-death experiences. These people who died, whether it was they drowned or they had a car accident, whatever happened, they died, they were gone for 30 seconds, some even 30 minutes, and then they eventually were brought back. And they describe what they saw in their time spent in the next realm. And it's incredible what these people saw. They all describe very, very similar experiences. And they describe, I think one of the most fascinating things is they describe encountering a being of light and love. There was this being of light and love that just, the second they saw it or felt it, it was just, they felt love, this crazy, indescribable love. And it was just so bright, but not bright like it's hard to look at, that like that light, bright just like glowing.
Yeah.
But all you wanted to do was look at it. And so many people from different cultures, different backgrounds, different areas, all describe encountering the same thing. And so to me, that was really fascinating. And the Bible says God is a God of light. So it gave me a lot of faith that like heaven's real, man. Heaven's real. And there is something after this life. And there's doctors who believe that we now have medical evidence to support the idea that there is a life after death.
Wow, that's exciting.
It's so exciting, dude. I used to be so scared of death. And now I'm like, bro, if it happens, like I'm excited. What's next?
I used to fear it, man.
Yeah.
For real, daily.
Same.
As a kid. Yeah, for no reason. I was super young.
Did you have like anxiety and OCD and kind of stuff
death?
like that? Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say so. As a kid, I used to think about it a lot.
Same, man.
Yeah, but I've accepted it more and more. I'd say I'm almost fully at peace with it. There's still some stuff I want to do on this earth while I can, but for the most part, I think I'm doing a lot better than I was.
Yeah, that's cool to hear. Dude, I was the same way. It's cool to come to that spot of like, man, if I die, I die.
Yeah.
Like that's a really powerful place to be. Like if it was Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, who said, we have one chain that holds us back, and it's our love for life. And I find that to be a really profound quote, that our love for life is the one thing that holds us back.
Ironic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, loving the feeling of living. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, people get wrapped up in it, man.
They do.
Yeah.
They
Dude,
do.
it's been an interesting episode.
It's been we didn't talk about SMMA at all, which I'm so glad.
It's funny, man. Anything else you want to close off with or promote, though?
Serve others, man. Serve others. I think that's what we're here for, whether you're an atheist or a theist or whatever you believe in. If everybody in the world served everybody else but themselves, it'd be a way different planet. So I'll leave people with that thought. What would the world look like if everybody was serving someone other than themselves?
Love it, man. We'll link your YouTube below. Thanks so much for coming on, dude. That was fun. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks for watching, guys. See you tomorrow.